Welcome to Dawn of a Story. This is more than a podcast. It's a place where we speak the truth, tell the stories that shape us, and honor the moments that made us who we are. I created the space because I believe storytelling is how we connect, how we heal, and how we remember who we are. Some stories are still being written. Some are full of laughter. Some have changed everything, but all of them matter. Whether it's my story or one of my guests, my hope is that you hear something that resonates, that reminds you that you are not alone and encourages you to tell your story too. So settle in because every story starts somewhere, and this one starts now. Thank you for tuning in and welcome to Dawn of a Story. I'm your host, Dawn Pascal. I'm so very grateful you decided to spend your time with me and my guest this week, Djenaba Johnson-Jones. Every show, we will be exploring a new theme, and this week's theme is When I Walked Away. Today's guest is someone I deeply admire, not just for her strength, but for her clarity and her courage. Djenaba's story reminds us that walking away isn't about giving up. It's about reclaiming your peace, your truth, and your power. So let me tell you a little bit about my guest. Djenaba Johnson-Jones is the founder and CEO of Hudson Kitchen, a New Jersey-based food business incubator and shared commercial kitchen. After being laid off from her corporate job in 2014, she turned her focus to entrepreneurship and identified a critical need for accessible commercial kitchen space. That insight led to the creation of Hudson Kitchen, which offers an 8,000 square foot production facility, resources, and education through networking events and her signature food business boot camp. With a strong focus on mentoring, she has built a thriving community that supports food entrepreneurs as they launch and grow their businesses. So without further ado, let's get started. Hey, Djenaba, how are you? Good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, Dawn. I'm good. Thanks so much. How are you?
I'm very good. Happy to see you. Today's theme is When I Walked Away. I understand that feeling as well. So can you take us back to the moment when you knew something in your life needed to change, when you first felt that whisper or roar that it was time to walk away?
It was probably a year or so before I was laid off from my corporate job. I decided that I liked it, but didn't love it, and kind of dreading going to work every day. So I started working on a side project, which was to become a personal trainer. I bought all the online course and I started studying. And over the years, found a love of exercise and working out. And I thought, like, maybe this is something I can transition into. I really like it a lot. So that's kind of where that all started. But then there's always, well, do you leave your job or not? Like, is this going to be something real or not? Can you actually replace your income? And I was, scared. And so really getting laid off was the push that I needed to be able to do what I wanted to do.
So did you think that if you didn't get laid off, you wouldn't be where you are today?
I, yes, honestly, to be perfectly honest, yeah, I think that it would have taken me a lot longer to decide that I wanted to move on for sure.
Yeah, no, look, I can absolutely agree. I had that planned exit strategy for years as I went through my corporate job. And in 2013, in January, I was also equally let go. And you're right. It's that feeling of, yay, the universe finally gave you that push, whether it's out the window or out the door or, whatever metaphor you want to use to describe it. But it brings you to the point that it's about time that you're going to do something for yourself or something different, at least. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I will say that the other thing that kept me there was my husband. We knew he was going to lose his job. It was either take a package or move our family to North Carolina, and we decided we weren't going to move. So I was going to keep a job and be the insurance for the family while he searched for, a new job. And I think that was kind of the plan. And so that was the other reason for me kind of sticking around.
wow, wow. Walking away is rarely one decision. Were there signs or a buildup to the moments that it was like, hey, okay, I'm going to do something different?
I don't know if there were necessarily signs. Well, I will say this one thing, which is going to sound a little crazy, but I would, I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I would go to work every day wishing that I got hit by a bus, meaning
Oh,
not that I wanted to take my own life, but meaning that I wanted something different to happen. And so that was kind of the catalyst of like, how can I make something different happen in my life? What am I interested in doing? Let me go do this thing.
that is a dramatic way of describing it, and I've never quite heard it that way, put that way. Again, I can equally agree with you that you wanted something different to happen, and I know that fear about being hesitant about doing it yourself. But if something were to happen, like, ooh, okay, that's my opportunity to finally go do something.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, do you feel it was the bravest thing that you did? Like, what's the most courageous part about your walkaway story?
The most courageous thing that I did was sign a lease without financing for the business. Finally, it took up over 4 years to find a location, found the location, and the landlord was getting a little antsy, and they were like, "We need you to sign this lease, or we're gonna move on." And rightfully so. We had been working on it for 6 months, and so I signed a lease and gave a security deposit for a space, signed a 5-year lease, and yeah.
And you took the leap.
It took the leap, and if we didn't get the financing, we knew, like, my husband and I knew that we would lose, $50,000 in a security deposit.
So let's go back and talk about the story. So you first were let go. You thought, okay, yeah, personal training. Let's see how that goes. So what got you into the food business instead?
So I actually wanted to launch what is called like a fitness concierge service. So I wanted to serve high-end clients, leading my corporate peers that I was leaving. You hear a lot of people complaining about they can't eat right, they can't, they're having trouble figuring out how to work out. And so this would really be like, let us help you figure out what you need to do to get yourself healthy. And even going as far as attending a class with them, whether it be a yoga class or a weightlifting class, or sending a personal trainer to their home to work out with them before work. And a friend of mine asked me as well. I kind of was going through the process of figuring out if it was a business or not. She said, what do I eat? She's like, I understand you're going to help me work out and be more healthy. What do I eat? And I was like, oh, that's really interesting. I know a chef. Let's see if we can put together a meal prep business. So the idea was that we would deliver food, breakfast, lunch, and dinner to someone's home several times a week that they could take, eat the breakfast and then take to work, and like you have a dinner when they're at home. So that was the whole kind of the catalyst of me getting into food. And how I end up like thinking about opening a kitchen was there weren't any shared kitchen facilities near us. People were using churches and restaurants after hours to have a business. And
Mhm.
the nearest one I think was in Inglewood, New Jersey. And then also people were also driving into Brooklyn as well. So it just was challenging for sure.
Absolutely challenging. And that's how we met because I was also using a restaurant in off hours to start the business. And that's how I started Home Sweet Home back in 2013. And I think we met maybe in 2015
Yeah.
at that point, right? And I knew that your kitchen space was coming soon, and I was eager, and ready for you to have that space built out. And then I wound up going in a different direction
Yeah.
and wound up opening up my own space in a brick and mortar. But yes, it was at the time unheard of, really, to have a production facility that catered to small businesses. So
Yeah, there
pioneering
was
move.
Thank you. There was quite a bit of interest. By the time, we got into getting financing, I walked in the door to the banks with 60 letters of interest. And having served several hundred people with our food business boot camp course and networking events. So you really, while it took a long time to open the 4 years, it really did have us like prove out the concept prior to obtaining financing, which was great.
Yeah, that's beyond amazing. Because I know there were a lot of people in our circles who stepped up and was very eager for you
Yes.
to be open.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Oh, that's amazing. So, how did the community respond?
Well, first let me say this. I never launched my fitness business, never launched my own food business, and really kind of started to focus on like what does it look like to help other people get started and launch their businesses and grow their businesses. So the community responded very well. Since 2019, we have served 60 businesses within the facility. They stayed with us an average of 2.5 years. We've had people be with us for 5 years. So it's pretty exciting to watch someone start with a small team and grow into, help grow a large business. As you mentioned, our facility is 8,000 square feet. And you can like really start there and kind of, we always say we're a place to start and with room to grow. So we had people starting making brownies and then shipping out pallets of brownies by the time they left the space to go into their own facility. So it's pretty exciting.
That's amazing. So you saw the need and you fulfilled it. So what do you think is the next evolution of Hudson Kitchen?
That's a really good question. I have been really focused on education and mentoring. I think that it's one of the most important thing. Like, how do we give people the tools that they need to actually grow a profitable business? And how do we give them people to talk to that have been in that space, whether it be another entrepreneur or an expert? So that's kind of really the focus of what we're doing right now.
Do you think you're going to expand the educational piece? I've had the pleasure of being part of your programs and showing up and being on a panel and seeing lots of fresh faces with tons of very enthusiastic questions. You know how hard it is to actually run a business. I mean, you know that as well, right? You're running your business. And to see all of those fresh faces and be very excited about it is wonderful. So, do you think that you're going to enhance upon the educational piece too?
For sure. Like we're really looking to do more events over the next year. This year was really great because we ended up doing a couple of things. We did a speed networking event where we invited in 16 experts and we had 16 entrepreneurs and they got to spend a few minutes with each one, including like a buyer from Whole Foods, which was really, really exciting. So we want to do more of those types of things. And we also got to take 9 businesses to the Summer Fancy Food Show to be a part of our booth experience within the startup space. So that was exciting as well. So more of that to come, more opportunities for businesses to talk to mentors and to showcase their business out to buyers.
That's so exciting. I'm happy to hear that. Do you think there's going to be another location? Do you foresee that in the future?
It's something I've been thinking about, but honestly, I'll be honest, like I'm not sure. I'm not sure yet. Something definitely, it's been a thought. I'll say that. So we'll see.
Okay, good. That's exciting to hear. How different would your life be if you didn't leave corporate?
Oh, wow. I haven't even thought about that because I kind of really just went all in on having this business. And so it's been 10 years and been really just kind of focused on Hudson Kitchen and growing that business within the current space that we have. Yeah, haven't thought about it. Haven't even, just not a thought at all. Even at the times where, business, it's challenging, it's hard. There's definitely days where I cried. I still, it's like, we're going to keep this business and move forward with what's going on.
Right.
It
Yeah.
didn't make me wanna quit, it just made me that gave me kind of more ammunition to keep going.
Well, it's a baby. You've birthed something into the world and the community that people need. So, sure, of course, you absolutely cry. I would be surprised if I didn't hear you cry, and then and you know that I cry a lot. So I understand. I can empathize and sympathize. Let me put it that way. So, what would you say to someone if they're sort of standing in the same spot as you were and they were kind of on the fence about walking away? What would you say to them?
I would say well, okay, so I didn't get an opportunity to plan my exit the way that I wanted to, like, I thought I had this, like, big dream of, like, "I'm gonna create this side business, and I'm gonna walk in my job and quit."
Yeah.
Which didn't really happen.
Nope.
I did, however I did, however, get it like, I got a severance package, which was fine. I ended up being fortunate enough to be able to have the severance package and be able to kind of not work and start this business, which was really a big privilege. However, I would have probably done it a different way, meaning I would have kept my corporate job and kept doing something on the side until I was able to build it up. I just made the decision, or we made a decision together that I was not going to go back to work. And I think, yeah, I mean, there's some pros, maybe, yeah, pros and cons to that, but I probably would have kept working if I could.
So that's the advice that you would give someone.
Absolutely. I
Keep
think you should
working
and make
until.
a plan. Yeah, and actually, I have some clients that that really were able to do that. I had a client that recently told me like, oh, I created an investment fund for myself. So I like and put money away every month and have it grow so I can like put it into my business when I quit my job. So I do think that planning, if you can, is really important. But I'm also like, start where you can. Start doing the research. I'm a really big fan of a competitive analysis. What are you trying to do? Who are your competitors and how are you going to differentiate yourself? And that's like the place where I tell people to start with their
Mhm.
businesses. That's how I started. We are very different shared commercial kitchen from others that are in the area. We charge a flat monthly fee, so we rent by the month. And with a 6-month contract. Some other people are hourly, and I feel like we're not for everyone, but yeah, it works for some businesses, and those other businesses work for others. And sometimes we send them out to other businesses, prospective clients out to other places that kind of work better for them. So it just really depends on what's going on with you and what you want.
Right. I totally get it. So do you see Hudson Kitchen as being a legacy family business? Do you think your son and daughter would do you think they'd roll up to the family business at one point, or it's not their jam?
It's not their jam. They both have worked part time here and there for the business, which was great. It's nice to be able to offer them a job and actual paycheck. But yeah, that's not something that they're interested in doing.
Okay. Yeah. Just thought I'd ask, because you've built it and who knows, right? Who knows if maybe they come back from college and realize in 5 years, "Hey, you know what? I think I wanna work with mom."
Never say never. We'll see.
Never say right, exactly, exactly. So, what did you what did you gain? What do you feel that you gained from starting your own business?
Oh, wow. I think starting a business or having a business is really an exercise in personal development. Like, I feel like I am more resilient than I've ever been. Yeah, I mean, I think resilient is a good word. I think that's what I've gained, like some resiliency in life. Like, it's really helped me. I'm a like a really problem solver. Can definitely like kind of dig in and get a problem solved. And I also got the chance to exercise my creativity. It's so fun to create something from nothing. I mean, it was a business plan for the longest until like I remember getting like the final go ahead from the city, like we could start building, and I was like in my car crying, like looking at the permits. I'm like,
It's
oh,
gonna
this is
happen.
happening.
This is happening. Yeah, it's scary and it's equally ridiculously exciting
Yeah,
because it's yours. It's yours, and you took the leap and you took the chance to do it.
yeah.
Did you ever, at any point in the process, think that you would go back to the personal training business or start that as part of Hudson Kitchen or an offshoot of Hudson Kitchen, the meal prepping piece or anything like
No,
that?
no, not at all. Like I actually enjoy the focus of having the kitchen facility and then do the kind of like the wraparound services for entrepreneurs. Like to me, having the personal training business or even me running my own food business, I think would be a huge distraction to kind of what I'm doing right now. So I like the focus, and I also with the clients that we have in the facility, they are focused on what they're doing. So they're like doing this one thing really well, whether it be like beef jerky or protein bites or cookies. They're just focused. So there might be like one thing they're doing with 3 different flavors versus trying to be like, I make, cookies, I make brownies, I make this, I make that. It's kind of like that focus to me is where the success lies, is like really getting that one thing right first before you start adding on others.
It's perfecting the plan and then, of course, being open and willing to adapt that plan a little bit based on what the need is as well. So as your community of small businesses come in and out of the door, you can also adapt to see if there's other functionality that you may be able to provide them, or production operations or operations within the facility that you can provide them. Do you see any other new offshoots happening, like a delivery service, or, some of the other pain points that I know that I felt throughout the growth of my business at the time?
We are really, really focused on like mentorship and providing resources. And so, one of the things that we did recently is we invited in a group of investors to speak to some of the brands. We have brands that are like i- growing. Most of them are shipping out nationally. Like, how can they grow their businesses? Okay, maybe it's time for investment. So let's have somebody come in and talk to them about that. And so I think it's more like, what more resources can we provide to the people that we serve? Is really important versus offering out delivery service. So a lot of them have the way to do it. A lot of them have relationships with FedEx and UPS and those types of things, and so like you kind of let them handle their own delivery. But
Right, right.
yeah.
So you've given small business owners a really very solid foundation, and took the big worry, right? How, where, mainly. Where am I going to get my stuff done? And then you've also helped them with the how. So that's really kudos to you, because it's a beautiful facility. I was there for a short period of time as well, and it's a really great space, and the community that you've created really is something to be very, very proud of.
Thank you.
Congratulations for all of that.
Thank you.
So before we go, I ask my guests the same question. I believe that the stories we leave behind say so much about how we've showed up in this world. So tell me, Djenaba, what's one story, big or small, that you hope people remember you for?
Hmm. I guess I hope that I am remembered for connecting people. Like, I really feel like one of my strong suits is being a connector. So I really like having conversations with people like, what do you need? Okay, maybe I know someone that can help you out, or tell me what you need, and maybe in 6 months I'll I'll meet somebody that can help you, and so we can make that connection that way. So those are it's actually something that we do as a part of our membership application process. Is we have the prospective member speak to a current member, and like someone that's kind of doing something similar to them, and really kind of connect on how they can best utilize the facility. So I'm like all about like, how can we connect people with resources? So I hope that's how I'm remembered.
And that's wonderful, because I know that you've set up that mentoring and relationship building piece. So, and I know how helpful that has been. And even times when I've come to you and said, "Hey, I'm stuck. Do you have maybe a path that I could take?" So, no, it's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
This was really great, Djenaba. Thank you for being part of the show today. Thank you for sharing your story. And thank you, everyone who tuned into this episode of Dawn of a Story. If something you've heard today moved you, made you laugh, made you think, share it with someone you love. Please like and subscribe to the show. And if you're feeling brave, I'd love to hear your story by commenting below. It helps other story lovers find us too. If you're interested in learning more about the Hudson Kitchen and Djenaba, they can be reached at thehudsonkitchen.com. Until next time, keep listening, keep sharing, and keep telling your story. Bye, Djenaba. Thank you.
Thank you.